What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the ZayMoolaSportsPodcast. I'm your host, Zay, and I'm here to give y'all my winners and losers of the 2026 NBA Draft. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. So my first winners are the Utah Jazz, and there was speculation that they could select Cameron Boozer. And although I believe Cameron Boozer is going to have a great career, I think that the Jazz made the right decision by selecting Darren Peterson, because I believe he was the best player in this draft, as he's 6'6" with a 6'10" wingspan, so he has great size at the guard spot. He's a dynamic and efficient three-level scorer who can get downhill, finish around the rim. He has a great mid-range pull-up shot. He's a dangerous three-point shooter, and he's a very aggressive and tenacious perimeter defender. And also, y'all, he has a high basketball IQ, and so I think he is a well-rounded player who is going to fit in incredibly well with the Utah Jazz, because they had a massive need at that guard spot next to Keyonte George. You know, Keyonte George is a great scorer and a great playmaker, but the Jazz desperately needed some athleticism and defense in that backcourt next to him, y'all. Now they just got that with Darren Peterson, and I love the direction that the Jazz are heading in, because now you have Keyonte George, Darren Peterson, Lauri Markkanen, Jaren Jackson Jr., and Walker Kessler, y'all. That is a very talented starting five. And then off the bench, you got Isaiah Collier, Bryce Sensabaugh, Ace Bailey, Yusuf Nurkic, and Kyle Filipowski. So I absolutely think that the Jazz are going to be playoff contenders next year. And again, I just think this is the right decision for them. You cannot pass up on a talent like Darren Peterson. I know there was speculation that he, didn't necessarily want to be drafted by the Jazz, y'all. But last night, listening to his press conference, he seems incredibly excited about joining the Utah Jazz, and give them credit, because last year, they selected Ace Bailey, even though there was speculation that he didn't want to be there. This year, they selected Darren Peterson, even though there was speculation that he didn't want to be there, y'all. And it's tough to do that, because sometimes, if you're hearing rumors that a player doesn't necessarily want to join your team, that might make you less likely to draft them, but you cannot pass up on elite talent. So I think this was absolutely the right decision for the Utah Jazz. My next winners are the Sacramento Kings, and I think it was the worst kept secret in the league, y'all, that the Kings were very enamored with Darius A-Cup Jr., because their GM Scott Perry, has a great relationship with the A-Cup family, as he actually coached Darius A-Cup's father back in the day at Eastern Michigan. So they already had a connection there. But then it obviously made a ton of sense why they were enamored with Darius A-Cup, because he was the most dangerous and prolific scorer in this draft class. You're talking about a guy, y'all, that's an elite shot creator and shooter, has deep three-point shooting range. He also, does a great job of playing at his own pace, really just controls the tempo of the game. And he's an elite passer on well. So they're getting a guy, y'all, that they can actually build their franchise around, something, that they obviously are in desperate need of, a lead ball handler, y'all, who's also an elite three-point shooter. I know he's not the best defensively, but we just saw Jalen Brunson, lead the Knicks to a championship. So you absolutely can win, have a lot of success with an undersized point guard if you build your team the correct way. It's going to be interesting to see if the Kings do their job, but they had to take Darius A-Cup Jr. again. He was the most prolific and dangerous scorer and shot creator in this draft class. Now they have a building block. But then also, y'all, they traded back up into the first round with the Cleveland Cavaliers at pick 29 to select Alex Caravan from UConn. And I really love that pick as well, because he's 6'7" with the 6'11" wingspan, so he has really great size and versatility, but he's also a really good three-point shooter, and he's tough, he's competitive, and he has a high basketball IQ, and he has a high character as well, y'all. So, and that's something else that I like with the Kings selection. Not only did they get two incredibly talented players to add to their roster, but then they also got guys that are high character, that are mature, and that are really going to help their team both on and off the floor. So I absolutely love what the Sacramento Kings did. My next winners are the Atlanta Hawks, y'all, as they selected my favorite player in the draft, Kingston Flemings. And I know there was speculation that they could select Braden Burries or Day Moore, but I absolutely think they made the right decision by selecting Kingston Flemings, y'all, because he is exactly what they need. Obviously, the Hawks had a massive need at that point guard spot after they traded away Trae Young, and they brought in CJ McCollum, and he played really well for them, but he is 34 years old, so he's not going to be their long-term answer at that point guard spot. When you look at Kingston Flemings, I believe he was the best point guard in this draft because of his elite two-way ability. I mean, he has tremendous speed and athleticism, can absolutely get up and down the court at the speed of light. And he also is a tremendous finisher around the rim. He's a really great playmaker. He has a great mid-range pull-up shot, and he's a very tenacious and aggressive on-ball defender. And he's also a pretty good rebounder for his size. I know some people have questions about his three-point shooting. Y'all, he did shoot 38% from three at Houston last year. So I just think he's just an all-around, well-rounded point guard. I think he's going to fit in well with the Hawks team alongside Jalen Johnson, Onyeka Okongwu, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, and Dyson Daniels. So I really love this addition to that backcourt for them, y'all. Then at 23, they selected Zuby Ejiofor, forward out of St. John's, and I like this pick as well because he's 6'8" with a 7'2" wingspan. He's one of the most versatile defenders in this class. He also is very physical in terms of finishing around the rim. He's a really great rebounder, and he has a high basketball IQ. So I love the two additions, y'all, that the Hawks made to their roster, adding defense, which is an area of weakness for them, adding defense, adding versatility, adding toughness, adding high basketball IQ to their roster. Love what the Hawks did. My next winners are the Oklahoma City Thunder, y'all. And I did a short last night discussing their selection of Day Moore. And in that short, y'all, I stated that the Thunder have done it again. It seems like every single year, Sam Presti is always able to select the guys that he covers the most. And he did it once again, y'all. There was no secret to any of us that the Thunder were incredibly interested in Day Moore. And I think he just fits like a glove for their team because he has incredible size and length, being 7'3" with a 7'7" wingspan. He's an incredible passer, y'all. Makes great decisions out of the passing out of the post. You also can run sets through him because he has such elite court vision. And this is going to allow them to kind of play how they've played the last couple of years with Isaiah Hartenstein. We know there's a chance they might not be able to bring him back, but if they don't, y'all, they have a perfect replacement for him because we know that the Thunder love to run a lot of offensive sets through Isaiah Hartenstein. Well, now they have a guy Day Moore who can do the same thing because he has great court vision and elite passing as well. And then defensively, he's an elite shot blocker, has great defensive instincts and timing. He also is a great rebounder, and he has soft touch around the rim. So I absolutely love this selection. I cannot believe he was still available for the Thunder at pick 12. But again, the Thunder, they just always, every year, they're able to finesse the NBA when it comes to getting the guys that they cover the most. And I think he and Chet Holmgren are going to be one of the most tenacious and dynamic front courts in the NBA. And then, y'all, at pick 16, they selected Bennett Sturts, a guard out of Iowa, which is going to add some much needed shooting and shot creating to their bench because we saw in the Western Conference Finals against the Spurs, they dealt with a mirage of injuries and they were not able to really overcome that. They didn't have a lot of shot creating and shooting outside of SGA. That's why SGA got so tired because he was having to do, so much of the scoring and shot creating for them. And now you have a guy, Bennett Sturts. So I know he's not the most athletic guy. He's not going to really blow you away with his athleticism or speed or lateral quickness, but he's a great shooter. He's a great playmaker, has a high basketball IQ, and he's ready to contribute right away, y'all. And that's why I really love with the Thunder's 2 first-round picks. They got guys that can contribute immediately. They're still championship contenders. I still name one of the top 3 teams in the NBA, so they need the guys that can contribute to their team immediately, and that's what they got with Day Moore and Bennett Sturts. So I really love that for them. My next winners are the Charlotte Hornets, y'all, and I think the Hornets are going to be one of the most improved teams in the NBA. I know last year they won 43 games, y'all. I think this year they easily are going to be a 50 plus, maybe even 60 win team. Like, I'm incredibly high on the Charlotte Hornets, and really the reason I'm so high on him, y'all, is the 2 first-round picks they made, selecting Hans Steinbeck, center out of Washington, with the 14th pick, which is absolutely what they needed because not only did the Hornets need more size and length in their front court, but they also needed some more scoring because you have Ron Kalkbringer and Moussa Diabate, 2 guys that are really good defenders, but they're not necessarily known for being prolific scorers. You add a guy in Hans Steinbeck, who is an amazing scorer, averaged 18 points and 12 rebounds per game at Washington. He has a great footwork on the low block, has soft touch around the rim. He's a tremendous rebounder, and I know he's not the best defender, but again, y'all, they already have 2 really good defensive minded centers on their team. They need to add some much needed scoring and rebounding to their front court. That's what they got with the addition of Hans Steinbeck, so I really love that. Then at pick 18, y'all, they selected Christian Anderson, point guard out of Texas Tech, who I thought was a top 15 player in this draft class because he is an absolute sniper from three, shot 41% from three on nearly 7 attempts per game. He also is a maestro in the pick and roll game, has really good court vision, has a high basketball IQ, and I think he's a better defender than what people give him credit for. And now you add him to that backcourt alongside Brandon Miller and LaMelo Ball and Kobe White. I mean, I'm telling you, the Charlotte Hornets are going to be an elite team next year in the NBA because of these two additions that they made to their already really great roster. And I'm just very, very high on the Hornets going into next season. So I love the two additions that they made. My next winner is the Philadelphia 76ers, y'all. They selected LeBaron Furlan Jr. guard out of Alabama with the 22nd pick. And I was absolutely astonished that he was still available because I thought he was going to be a top 15 pick. I had him ranked as a top 12 player on my big board. So I definitely did not expect him to still be available for the Sixers at pick 22, but this is an absolute steal for them, y'all, because LeBaron Furlan Jr. is a dynamic three-level scorer who has tremendous athleticism to finish around the rim. He's an amazing three-point shooter. He shot 40% from three, and he's a tenacious defender, so I think he's immediately going to really improve their scoring and defense off their bench. And now you have a guard rotation of VJ Edgecombe, and Tyrese Maxey. I mean, I absolutely love that for the Sixers, y'all, and I stated this on last night in my short, and I'm going to say it again. I'm glad they did not overthink this. I know they didn't necessarily have a need at the guard spot. They really had a need in their front court, but you cannot pass up on a talent like LeBaron Furlan Jr. I'm telling you, he is going to instantly really improve their bench and their backcourt as a whole. And I wouldn't be surprised if he's a candidate for 6th man of the year as a rookie. I mean, I just feel very, very strongly, y'all, that LeBaron Furlan Jr. is going to have a tremendous impact on the Sixers moving forward. And this was just great value for them. Again, I'm sure no one thought that he would still be available. But when you have a talented player, y'all, that is available to you this late in the draft that really shouldn't have been there, you should not hesitate to select him, and the Sixers did not do that. Absolutely love that selection for them. But then my last winner, y'all, is the Los Angeles Lakers, as they selected my second favorite player in the draft, Cameron Carr, with the 24th pick. And I stated this on last night. This was exactly what the Lakers needed because Cameron Carr is 6'5" with a 7'1" wingspan. He has tremendous athleticism. He's an explosive finisher around the rim. He's a great three-point shooter, has great mechanics on his shot. He's an amazing rebounder and shot blocker, and he makes all the winning plays that is really going to help your team. And he doesn't need the ball in his hands to be successful, and that's really what the Lakers needed, y'all. They needed a player that can play well without the ball, that is athletic, that can shoot and can defend. That's what they got in Cameron Carr. And similar to LeBaron Furlan Jr., I had him ranked as a top 12 player on my big board. I definitely did not expect him to still be available this late in the draft, but I'm absolutely glad, y'all, that the Lakers did not hesitate to select him because, again, that is exactly what they needed. More athleticism and shooting and defensive ability on the perimeter, y'all, because we know the Lakers were one of the least athletic teams in the NBA, and now they just added arguably the best athlete in this draft class in Cameron Carr, who also is a really great shooter and defender. Really love this pick for the Lakers, y'all, and I wouldn't be surprised if he becomes their 6th man this year. I mean, seriously, because they don't have a player on the roster that has the type of attributes that Cameron Carr possesses, y'all. So I really love this pick for them. And now let's get to my losers, and I think it's only 2, but my first losers are the Dallas Mavericks. And let me say this: I'm a big fan of Morris Johnson Jr. I think he's going to become one of the best two-way forwards in the NBA. But Braden Burgess is on the board, y'all. And I think Braden Burgess is going to be an all-star player for years to come because of his elite all-around ability. And I just don't think I would have selected Morris Johnson ahead of him. Now, I get why they did it. Obviously, they just hired his collegiate coach, Dusty May. So, you know, he has a great connection with Dusty May. And I'm sure Dusty May heavily influenced this pick. But I would have selected Braden Burgess, y'all, because, again, I just think he's going to be an all-star caliber player for years to come. And also, I think he would have been a better fit for the Mavericks because Braden Burgess is a really good shooter. And what did the Mavs need to surround Cooper Flagg with? Shooting. But you get a guy in Morris Johnson Jr. who's not a good three-point shooter, right? Only attempted 35 threes per game this past season at Michigan. So now they really, y'all, have a pretty crowded front court of guys that are non-shooters with Maurice Johnson Jr., Daniel Gafford, and Derek Lively. So I'm really concerned about the floor spacing that the Mavs have put around Cooper Flag. Again, this is not indicative of how I feel about Maurice Johnson Jr. So I think there were better options available for the Mavericks. But again, I get why they selected Maurice Johnson Jr. He has a connection with Dusty May. Dusty May wants to get one of his Michigan guys, but I just don't feel like he's going to be the best fit next to Cooper Flag, considering, y'all, that they need more shooting around Cooper Flag. And you could have got a guy in Braylon Burris who's a great shooter. You could have got LeBaron Filan Jr. who's a great shooter. You could have got Cam Carr, who's a great shooter. But again, I think Maurice Johnson Jr. is going to have a good career. I just don't, think I would have selected him ahead of those guys, but we'll see how it will play out in the long term. And then my final losers is 3 players. It's Malik Thomas, Isaiah Evans, and Henry Vaser. 3 guys that were projected to be late first round picks, but unfortunately they did not get selected on last night. And what makes this so unfortunate, y'all, is the fact that they had the opportunity to return to school and make significant amount of money, but they decided to enter the draft in hopes of being a first round pick, and now that did not come to fruition. So obviously they've lost a ton of money, because of this. Now I still think they're obviously going to get selected, very early on tonight, but being a second round pick, y'all, you're not obviously going to make the amount of money that first round picks do, and also they're not going to make the amount of money that they would have made if they opted to return to school. And I'm utterly surprised that none of them went in the first round. I mean, I thought all of them were going to be first round picks. They were they were top 30 players on my big board, but obviously NBA teams felt otherwise about them. And again, I definitely think they're going to get picked early on tonight, because Henry Vaser, is an incredibly skilled offensive big man. Isaiah Evans is one of the best shooters in this draft, and then Malik Thomas is a really underrated 3-level scorer. So I think they're still going to have success in the NBA, but it definitely is unfortunate that none of them were selected in the first round. But hopefully, y'all, this really just adds fuel to their fire and just motivates them to want to show teams and prove them wrong as to why they should have been first round picks. Because yes, I believe they should have been first round picks, but that did not come to fruition. Now it's time for them to show these teams why they were wrong, y'all. But they have to go on my loser list. So there you have it. This was my winners and losers of the 2026 NBA draft. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit that like and sub button. Remember, y'all, laughs good medicine. So what? Make sure you get your daily dose. I'm in them, and I love y'all. God bless. Peace.